as you said, where can you find, Jamal, and where can you find Jamal? That's where Loiter is coming into, because like he mentioned, like he's been on that programmatic route, right, and other people's organizations, and what we have now is we've got possession of 3 acres right in the middle of East Cleveland, to be able to stake claim on, to be able to demand spatial justice for us to do what we want to do, how we want to do it in our communities, and also have Jamal leading that narrative control work from a base, right, and be able to have a place to say, this is where real conversation is being had, and this is where change is being had right on the ground. And so once that work happens on the ground, we'll be able to continue to invite people, into that conversation and partner with other organizations. Our voice and culture enterprise is centered on making sure that we can not only, make sure that our entrepreneur in residence in Jamal can actually make money off of the things that he's actually doing, but also make sure it's centered correctly and making sure that it's sustainable and it's not just, a piece. Right. And so we weren't asking, and I hope you didn't get offended. We were asking those questions just to make sure that it was grounded and centered in the right, in the right space, because we want to be a lot more intentional, especially in the beginning, right, with us partnering and moving into this space. We want to be very intentional on the projects that we want to do and make sure alignment is there right from the jump. If Jay, we can unapologetically say, if Jay was saying, hey, look, roll with Jay, mess with him, make sure the message is there, the alignment is going to be there 100% without having to think about what that subcontract or who's holding that contract, to make sure we don't lose some sort of the messaging, because you now have to put it through a filter of another organization. And those people who have been holding that narrative, again, primarily have been white-led organizations that have been trying to do some of this community work, pushing out the messaging. So what we're doing is trying to say, all right, well, that's great, and I don't want to be too disruptive here, but at the same time, disruption has to happen not just within the police force, but all of these other systems that lead to the very thing that makes it okay for these people to sweep this stuff under the rug. And this sort of thing, we will be able to communicate quite clearly to multiple people, because we own that relationship with the children, because we got that shared reality, we've got that experience. We don't need to put it through a filter. The only filter we have to put it through is the organizations like Boys and Girls Club or the police department or whatever, to make sure it touches their constituents. But when we actually disseminate the information from our lived reality, it actually comes through very authentic, because we are the youth, and then we're working with the youth out in the community right now. So that's the thing. How proximate are we to the people that we're trying to reach, and what steps are we willing to take to get to that reality, which we know it should be? These, not only the opportunity to give the narrative, but also the opportunity to give wealth through creatives, right, through the arts and through entrepreneurship into the hands of the people in our communities, which of course then changes the outcomes in the future. So if these opportunities to actually create and to make money don't live in the hands of people, then we end up without having the power and the authority and the autonomy to deliver the very message that we're working on right now. So it's so interconnected. And so what we're, as an organization, are really trying to do is to say, how do we hold 100%, right, the power to dictate and state what is of, for, and by us, to make sure that we're in control of that narrative. And that is what Jamal is in the middle of doing right now. So it's not to be super transactional, but there is a transaction that is present, and to make sure that if that transaction does involve Jamal and the entrepreneurs within our ecosystem, we need to make sure that there's proper, and if we have, and what I was saying, talking about other, and we can subsidize it to cover some of our entrepreneurs' work on our end, that's totally fine. It's because it's not about the dollars. It really is about the work. So and the work is so important to us, that's what we want to make happen.
I know the one thing we did right was the day we started to fight. Keep your eyes